Chapter 1. Failure Basics: How to Do Everything You Can to Fail and Learn a Lesson from It. A synopsis. While most books are for people who are interested in bettering their lives, I'm aware that several are committed to the contrary path. These people, by choice, decline steps that would lead to measurable advances. They prefer that everything fails for as long as possible. Occasionally, they screw up and accidentally do something correct. They're commonly able to countermine these unwanted successes in short order. However, they like it best when they may prevent these favorable experiences from ever occurring in the first place. Mistakes are made by us all, and if a mistake is made in business, we can learn from it and ensure that in the next venture it doesn't happen again. The basics. 3 basics lessons can be taught about business failure, and what is learned should be applied to a new business to improve its chances of not failing. The lessons are common sense and simple, and probably because of that they work. The first lesson is to work to make the business supports itself. A business is just a hobby until it makes money. Making money means cash in hand after all expenses and capital outlays have been accounted for. Do not pour money into a new business and keep feeding it cash hoping it will magically become a business. It will not, and your business will fail. Lesson 2 is all about focus. Lack of planning can mean no goals and no business focus. Flexibility is essential to running a successful business, but so is focus. The business should not enter into extraneous distractions, which could devastate productivity and profits. The 3 main things that a business must focus on is its mission, its message, and its market. Most importantly, the final lesson teaches us that the head of the business must lead the staff or tribe. Effective leadership has to be shown. To succeed in business, you must focus, like a bulldog, on your mission and your message, and be sure to lead your tribe. Chapter 2. What habits work? If it works, you will succeed. A synopsis. To fail, take stock of which habits are producing the better results for you and desert them. Substitute them with habits that see to it there's no forward advancement. Even better are habits that induce reversion. Watch lots of television. Consume fast food. Keep away from exercising. Make Facebooking the high spot of your day. Be careful. If you have the right habits, you may just succeed. Effective work habits are critical to business success. If individuals waste time, are unproductive, and lack organizational and time management skills, then they are not going to be able to serve the customers or clients of the business well. By instituting some small changes to work habits, it is possible to bring about much greater efficiency and production. The path to be most productive: it is essential to work with minimal interruption to be able to remain on task. It goes without saying that some careful thought to timetabling and then scheduling can help to create time slots with minimal interruption so that tasks can be properly attended to. Emailing can be very distracting to business. There should be a policy of individuals not attending to personal emails during work time. Emailing is a critical component of many businesses. In such businesses, it is important to allocate a definite time to work on accessing and dealing with emails, for example, on the hour. Emails should then be worked on for only a given time frame to ensure that time is still free to be productive and to deal with important business tasks such as marketing. Paperwork has to be very well organized and should not be allowed to accumulate. It is important to allocate a time to deal with incoming paperwork, and there should be instituted a policy of only handling a piece of paper once. Paper should be dealt as paper management is critical. A lot of incoming paper is literally rubbish and should be placed in the bin. Just clearing out every bit of unnecessary paper can be very good for morale. It is important to prioritize all work to be done. It is a good habit to draw up a list each week of what is to be accomplished and essential, that important project work not be left to the last minute. Everyone in the organization should be made aware of the pitfall of procrastination. Ensure that important work is attended to well and on time. Chapter 3. What places work if you are in the right place you may succeed. A synopsis. To fail, it's crucial to live in a place that gives forth a going-nowhere vibe. Seek spots that attract individuals with average or below average profits, and prefer surroundings that are so atrocious even the most talented would succumb to writer's block. Live with individuals who will encourage you to assume paths you clearly don't need. Living with your parents for as long as conceivable may be really helpful here. Be careful. If you are in the right place, you just may succeed. You might have heard people say that location is the most important consideration for a business. Then the next most important is location, and so on. For many reasons, getting the right location can make the difference between success and failure. It is always possible to think of a shop or a restaurant where we live that has closed down, maybe because it was in the wrong place. There are lots of reasons why location is important to a business, and location matters to some businesses more than others. The location of the business may affect the workers to be employed at the business. Workers must be either available locally or else prepared to travel. It is important that those workers have the right skills. If locally there is high unemployment, it may be easier to recruit staff, and it may be possible that they could be employed more cheaply. If there is high unemployment, local people may not have the money to be able to spend in the business. Another consideration for the location of a business is that the right amount of land and buildings must be available. Certain businesses need to be near to their customers or to their suppliers. Transport and communication links associated with a given area are also part of the equation when deciding where to place a business. The provision of telephone and internet services in the area may also have to be considered. Certain businesses in primary industries will need to be sited near to material resources, and secondary businesses may also be sited close to resources that are important to their business. All businesses need to reach customers, and the location of retail business has to consider foot traffic counts. For many reasons, the location of many businesses is crucial to their success or otherwise. Chapter 4. What reasons work if you have the right mindset you might succeed? A synopsis. Individuals are notoriously snoopy, and eventually they'll ask about your plans. There's an unjust assumption that everybody should be looking to better their lives, so you'll need to get great at deflecting their questions with fake answers. When they finally take note of your apparent lack of forward advancement, put the blame on outside factors like the economy, how unjust your boss is, how absurd your ex was, etc. If you tell individuals the truth, they might try to motivate you to make a few changes, and you definitely don't need that. Be careful. If you have the right mindset, you may succeed. Mentality. Having the correct mindset for success is vital to be able to achieve business vision and key business goals. The business world is highly competitive, and most new businesses will fail. In order to remain in business and to succeed, a business has to be focused and to be driven. A business must also have a good leader. These things, though, are not sufficient in themselves to be able to function at the highest level, and in particular, the leader and those involved in the business must possess a business mindset. There are a number of core beliefs that every successful business entrepreneur will possess. If those beliefs can be fostered by newly aspiring business people, there is a chance that their business will succeed. It is crucial to have passion about the product and service that the business sells. This passion is infectious and will rub off onto customers, clients and staff also. Successful people must have the desire to become successful and the drive and determination to achieve their goals. They must also have well-developed egos and believe emphatically in themselves, and their business to be able to carry on in the face of negativity. Vision and the courage to follow instincts and to take a leap of faith are all attributes of a successful entrepreneur. It is essential to be a hard worker and be self-disciplined and be willing to make necessary sacrifices to succeed. Being persistent and keeping going is vital. Possessing wisdom and using common sense to learn from mistakes and to be able to think with a clear mind is important. The ability to make good decisions and to be able to take calculated risks is paramount. Entrepreneurs have to be optimistic to maintain positivity and also to be opportunistic and alert to new deals and opportunities that others fail to see. To emulate all or most of these attributes would ensure a modicum of success. Chapter 5. What techniques work using the right techniques might lead to success. A synopsis. To fail, don't be too originative or attempt to innovate. Copy another person's technique if you are able to. Fitting in with the herd is safer than sticking out as a distinct person. It's simpler to stave off success if you prefer the popular methods of the masses. Don't do anything too fancy. Style is too similar success. Be careful. If you use the right techniques, you may succeed. Even in a strong economy, the kind of growth that signifies a successful business is hard to come by. There is no one principle to follow that will lead to market domination, but instead business leaders must use a range of techniques to stay ahead of the competition. Methods. A business must build an original business model. Success in business means doing something new, and it starts with an original business model. A business model has many purposes as it defines the business, details the business's advantages over its competitors, and acts as a roadmap for future success. It is crucial to business success to be able to maintain a presence online. There are millions of internet users, and that's a lot of potential customers. Coupled with the many devices they use to access the web, laptops, smartphones, and tablets, etc. It is obvious how a business creates success with an active online presence. Whether a business sells goods or a service, it can reach customers directly. Success in business is non-static, which is why business must adapt to everything from changes in customers' tastes to new government regulation, or they will risk dying. There's a reason why the adage about the importance of business location has endured for years, and that's because it is true. Every business's success will hinge on it being in the right location at the right time. Businesses must be constantly innovative. When coming up with new product ideas, thought should be given to how well the idea meets the needs and wants of the masses. If it doesn't, then it needs to be altered. Thought must also be given to how to add value to a product. Considerations should also be given to what the competitors have done with their product. In business, it is essential that decisions have to be made, and it may be necessary to go with a gut instinct and make it work. Chapter 6. If you are doing the wrong stuff, don't worry about success. A synopsis. To fail, put together flawed plans to reach your goals. Plans that any fairly intelligent individual would be able to poke full of holes. Make sure that at least one crucial step calls for an unattainable step. Be careful. If you do the right stuff, you may succeed. Businesses and products and ideas are rarely always successful. Many errors may be made in the startup company's operating system or lack of operating system. Planning may never have been considered, and the product or service being marketing may very well not be what the market is seeking. True breakthrough innovation and importance in today's globally competitive world in which product cycles are shorter than ever is so extraordinarily hard. It requires well-honed organizations built for efficiency and speed to do what it is that feels unnatural. Explore, expand, foul up sometimes, and then repeat. A great tips: intelligent failures, those that happen early and inexpensively, and that can contribute new insights about a business's customers, should be more than just tolerated, they should be encouraged. Working out how to master the process of failing fast and failing cheap, and then fumbling towards. Getting good at failure needs a good leader. Someone who can create an environment safe for taking risks, and who is prepared also to share their own mistakes. It might also mean bringing in an independent observer who is unattached to the business and its history. And it also means making time available to reflect on the failure and not just on success. Because of the enormous emphasis that we all place on success and successful performance, there is a need to design ways to measure performance that balance accountability with the freedom to make mistakes. Individuals may fear failure, but they also fear the consequences of it even more. In addition to making sure performance evaluation takes on a long-term view, it is important to consider rewarding or celebrating smart failures. As many businesses will fail, it may be necessary for an increasing number of business to take on the mindset of designers and scientists who work to prove themselves wrong not to succeed. Failures in business have a great deal to teach us. Wrapping up, if you're already employing most of the failure techniques in this book, then you shouldn't have to concern yourself about success, happiness, and fulfillment tainting your dreary existence. You are able to relax and coast to the casket from here.